so it won't be live, but it'll be recorded.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If clerk would please take roll call.
She would love to. I think I might make it come up and I'm going home. All right, Mayor Grant,
Present.
Mrs. DeLong.
Present.
Mr. Moss.
Present.
Mr. Voorhees.
Present.
Mrs. Carnahan.
Present.
Mr. Roderick.
Present.
Okay. Okay,
No junior
junior
council
council.
members present tonight due to fall break. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from September 9th and September 23rd? If so, do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from 9/9/24 and 9/23/24 as written.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Do we have any citizens petitions tonight? A lot of folks in the crowd. Anybody have anything they need to say? We'll give you 3 minutes. Okay. We do have a set of pictures that Mr. Voorhees brought. Scott, do you want to talk about those during citizens petitions?
Just briefly, we had a concerned citizen that took a lot of time and effort to take some pictures of some disrepaired roads, McDonald Street specifically. Just concerned over some of the road conditions and things like that, so a lot of time and effort and everything that
Nice,
they.
spend his own money to do that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Took some great pictures showing some areas that we knew were concerned, and as I expressed to him, we've allocated a lot of matching money for community crossings this next year to take care of some things that got put aside a little bit while we were doing a lot of work in other places, 200 block downtown and things, so. But, that's it.
Thank you, Scott. I don't think we have any committee reports. Department heads, Mr. Swank.
I do not have anything to report.
I mean, if I could ask, when will they start leaf pickups if we're asked?
It's up and running and ready to go.
So
That
just
will probably.
when the leaves start
normally-
falling, huh?
Normally, yeah, it's around the 1st of November.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, if we start getting an accumulation of enough of them, they bring it out early.
All right, thanks.
And when do you normally wrap that up again? Like the first, what did you say? You told me 1 year, I forget.
Well, when we wrap it up,
Mhm.
it kind of depends on when we've got the majority of them.
Okay.
That when it starts snowing really hard.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like maybe you said like the first big snow, right?
First time we plow snow.
Okay.
Usually is.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Chief Miller.
Just kind of an update, we're making it, we'll be opening up a hiring process sometime this week. We'll get that posted online as well as the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy's website. I'd like to leave it open probably somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks so that we can gather as many applicants as we can. Probably start that hiring process after the first of the year, as oftentimes some perf and retirement paperwork change after the first of the year, and we've been taught during that change, so we do those requirements after the first of the year. Officer Albin was released from the academy due to an injury that he sustained while he was there. He ended up needing to go on light duty or ordnance count for a few weeks while that injury healed. He was sent to an orthopedic specialist. We just got word the end of last week that he's been released for full duty. So he's going to start back Wednesday night in phase 2 of his field training. And we'll continue his field training up until the next academy class goes in. And then we'll send him to the next academy class. Officer Hardwick's doing great inside the academy. He's got approximately 9 weeks left there. So that means about 9 more weeks of night shift for me. And hopefully we'll have some assistance from a certified police officer at that time. We'll move Officer Alvin into the next academy class, and then we'll also be doing a hiring process. So we'll get some relief sometime in 2025. Look for that probably middle of 2025. Get a process done, see if we don't get a lateral and we do hire, a new law enforcement officer, hopefully we can get him into that academy class as well and get some relief scheduling wise in 2025, so. Just kind of an update on our personnel, and the team's doing great, handling it well. Not many opportunities for days off here for the next while.
Okay, Chief Little?
Update on the building, we are probably gonna be having a survey done here in the next week or two. It's part of the plans. I should have some more detailed drawings and material lists coming out within the next week or two. Then it should go out to bid probably the beginning of November. There's 5 different companies that we're gonna put out for an invitation to bid on it. That's gonna be open for 30 days, so we'll probably see those maybe the end of November, 1st of December. A lot of companies aren't even gonna start on a project like that until early spring, if I had to guess. So we're expecting the ground to be broken probably March-ish, right around there. So a little bit longer than what we thought it was gonna be, but that's just part of the process, so. I had a meeting with the mayor the other day on a few things. We are replacing a pickup truck over in the fire department. One of the trucks we have is just getting old. It's a used truck from the city, so we're just gonna go ahead and replace that. I got some bids in the other day. So we'll go purchase that here in the next week or so.
And you already have the funds for that?
Yeah, the funds are already done, so it's not a big deal. The biggest part is, and the big part of the meeting that I had with him, we had something kind of fall in our lap that we weren't expecting. It's a pretty good opportunity. Pierce, the fire truck manufacturer, got a hold of me last week. They had a customer design a truck, then they backed out due to funding. The truck is in process of being built next month. It's a brand new truck. Original sticker cost was $1.3 million. They offered it to us at $860,000. So there's about a $500,000 difference. Speaking with Baker Tilly and the mayor, we figured it was probably a good opportunity to take advantage of. So it sounds like we are gonna be taking advantage of it. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. This is all still part of the bond with the building, and the truck will just go into one bond and be taken out of the equipment and building fund from the territory, so.
Would that replace one in your fleet now, or?
It'll replace the engine that we currently have now. The one that's kind of starting to cost a little bit more money here and there with the valves and so on and so forth. It's a commercial chassis. This is a custom chassis. I know most of you probably may not know what that means, but it's met its time. And with this opportunity, I hate to pass it up because they don't come along very often. And it avoids us waiting 4 years to get a new truck, because that's how long they take. We're going to see it at the end of February, beginning of March. So I think it's a no-brainer on our part to
That's
do it.
awesome.
Yeah. It
That's
is
so
very good.
exciting.
That's $500,000 plus 3 years sooner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and we don't have to buy
awesome.
used one, which was someone else's problem. We know where it's at. It comes with, a 15-year warranty from bumper to bumper, so.
That's amazing.
And it would suit your needs, then?
Yeah, so it's a
That's
bigger
awesome.
tank, more water, so that's huge, so.
Awesome.
So cool.
I think it's a no-brainer on our part, for sure.
Sounds like it.
Mhm.
I will be making my last phone call to our last hire, this evening. So we will have 4 part-time individuals, 5 counting myself, so we will be done with hiring for a while, so. So, right on track, where we needed to be.
Hello, Jeff.
Sorry about that.
That's exciting.
Good.
Anything else,
Great.
Chief?
That's it.
Okay, great, thank you. I have, although he's not a department head, I have Mr. Bannon in here at the end of this for a WEGA report.
Yeah. So, good news, we are starting construction on the building, used to be Doug's studio, the exterior. We were able to finalize the Indiana Landmarks grant, which was the one that was holding it all up. So we received release for construction, and then Contract should be complete this week. We're meeting with Indiana Landmarks on Friday to go over the requirements for refurbishment of the brick and so forth under the contract. And then they will mobilize October 21st, which is a week from Monday. And so they will probably start on the back of the building and then start doing brickwork and then stucco. There will be a lag on the storefront itself because we need to do some work inside in order for that to happen. But we're on track to be complete by April or before of next year, of the exterior. The interior building is part of another grant process which we're in now, and we're verbally promised it, but it's a process of striking the agreement. So we're in the process of doing that now. And the same with the market. So looks like if all goes well, we'll be able to build it all. So we're just working along those lines. And then in terms of what's happening downtown, this week they will start landscape install. And I'll pass this around. This is an exhibit of the areas that they're not installing this fall. And the reason for it is the deleted scope still needs to be fabricated and installed, and if they put the trees and so forth in, it would all get ripped up. So, and some of the perennials actually cannot go in past, first part of November because they won't survive. So essentially they are pulling this out of the scope, this work out of the scope, and then the city will have to kind of contract that separately in the spring for hopefully the same dollars. But it's a small amount, but it's basically everything on Perry Street, unfortunately. And then also we got word today that they do have the lighting on order, Duke does, but it won't be in until the middle of December, which means they probably will not install until January.
Okay, hold on. So the stuff in red they're not putting in right now?
Correct,
And so that comes back out of the budget?
yes.
Okay, so that's a positive. And then they're not gonna install it, we'll have to do it in the spring?
Yeah, we just have to get a separate contract,
Is
or
it
maybe
just-
the same people,
Okay.
but
What,
just
it's
separate.
just looking like plants?
Well, no, they'll just have what they have there now, which is dirt. They'll leave the dirt until
Okay.
next spring.
Okay.
And I guess since we're pulling that out, then that will, we've not reallocated that money for something else, right? So we're
No.
not gonna have to go someplace else to get that in the spring.
I haven't, and I don't think they can, so, it'll get pulled out in the contract closing documents. And then you may be able to recontract with the landscaper, because it is a separate entity, and to get them to come back in later, so.
It's just a landscaper?
It's just the landscaper.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's somebody local we can use.
I'm sure.
I mean, that's gonna be way
Well,
cheaper.
I don't think that's true, because these are commercial trees, that have to be pulled from a commercial yard, so.
Okay, Rod, we could find somebody that's
Okay.
also commercial.
Well-
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that, I just mean, they might be busy. This is not a negative thing to me. This is not a negative thing at all. I'm just thinking, hey, we might be able to find someone else that may be able to get it cheaper. Or be able to do the entire work cheaper, that's
You
it.
can do that, if you wanna make
I
it
don't
more
mean-
complicated, you can do that.
I'm not trying to be rude. That was not a rude comment from me. It was simply how to save money, that's it. And if we use somebody that was maybe local, I would rather
Okay.
give tax dollars to a local person, whoever it is, whether it be somebody in Lafayette or somebody in Attica, whoever that might be.
Whatever, I don't care.
I just don't wanna see us spending the money, think we've got the money to spend somewhere else and then not have the money to do this, but.
Right.
Oh, no, I
you're right.
agree.
We could go back and rebid this to whoever we wanna rebid it to.
I think we should absolutely do that. That was not meant to be a bad thing. That was supposed to be a good thing.
Yeah,
There's nothing
it's-
wrong with
it's all
these
good.
people. I just meant we might be able to save some money somewhere. That's it.
Okay.
Or not that I didn't want to
See
do
that?
it.
I just
Okay.
want a copy of it.
Anybody else? Rod, do you have anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I know, Kaylee had asked to be on the agenda, for tonight, and you had a proposal for the 200 block.
Yeah,
or-
it was honestly just a question, a couple different things. The first one was, do we know, and I'm glad Rod's here, cause he might know over.
That's why I put you right after
Yep,
Rod.
perfect.
We
So-
got Miss Broadwater too, Mayor.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Joanne, do you wanna go?
I just handed out the financial reports. If anybody has any questions, just reach out to me. Thanks, Scott.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump over you, Joanne.
No problem.
No, okay, this is a kind of a weird question. Do we have the date? Everybody always asks, oh, well, what's the date like that we could build on down there? Do we have like an actual date that says, hey, on October, whatever the date is today, 14th, 2024, we can build on the 200 block?
Isn't that
Do we have like the actual date that's like back open after the 5-year period?
That's a grant criteria, and it's
Okay.
5 years from when the grant would have been awarded, and I can go back and look
Okay.
and see when that was.
Okay, and
But I believe it was 20, when did we tear them down? We tore them down in 22, didn't we, or was it 23?
22.
So, I mean, it's just the date, that's a grant thing, it has nothing to do with Uyghur or the
Okay.
200 block, it's just
Okay.
a grant stipulation.
and that's okay, perfect.
So
So
it's 5 years from the date award.
from the date of awarded. Okay, that's awesome. So I feel like that's even sooner.
Right, just a
Yeah,
couple
I
years.
keep telling
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
we're down to like 3.5 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess my next question is, and that's kind of where I go back to you, is it possible now for us to, and maybe you are, you know, is it possible for us now to like start poaching people to like, we know how long these things take to get somebody, you know,
Yeah, we have
interested in
had-
going?
I've had some early conversations, I don't
Okay,
think that it's of any value at the moment, but,
okay,
I do have a full layout for the property,
Okay.
including elevations, just to see what will fit.
mhm,
And then we have talked to the developer of the elementary school. He might be interested, once he gets that done, coming back downtown. But, I mean, it's really early. There's nothing real.
I totally agree. It is super early. My only thought is, we know how long things take.
Oh, yeah,
And that if we
yeah.
were trying to plan ahead to say, hey, we know that on this day, this is the day that you could start.
But
Then you could-
understand the challenge there is that no one's coming in to invest that kind of money at the
True.
moment in its current condition. So we kind of need to finish that market, and that'll give us some catalyst to bring in developers.
You don't think that somebody would come in before the market was complete, like if, like, let's just say that the,
Let's hope the market will be completed by
well, I
the time
just
that
meant,
5 years is
well,
up.
no, I just mean, if, like,
So
right now,
what we're
seeing the
looking
way
at,
it is
or
now.
what we've discussed collectively is 3-story buildings with retail on the bottom. You can't really put the residential there the way we had it before because of the amount of parking required and access and the way the slopes worked out. But you could do office, you could do medical, you could do, you know, things like that on the upper 2 floors. And so I have some stats I can show you what will actually fit on that site. And there are a handful of people that would come in and do that. We're talking about another $12 million in investment.
Mhm.
I mean, these are big numbers.
Mhm.
And so that's the reason why I say it's unlikely you're gonna get that kind of investment, right now. But
Well,
I'm working on it.
I guess
I'm
I
happy to
didn't mean
work
right
with you
now,
on
I
it.
just thought, I would
You-
really hate
You
for
don't
it
wanna
to,
wait until you
that's-
can build on it to
that's my
start
fear.
thinking about it.
because
Yeah.
that's my fear, is that we're gonna wait, and then whenever the time comes, in a year or 2 years, I know it's not a year, but whatever time it is, that we've waited, and then we're gonna have to wait more. And these people of Attica don't wanna see that. I don't wanna see that for them. So that was my only thing, is that I wanna make sure that we're on top of it. Again, that's not just you, whoever that is, that we're on top of it, and just that we market it to somebody. Get it, I know that, I agree with you, once the market's done, they'll wanna come in, but I think, get them interested now.
That's what
I mean-
I've had a lot of people come into the office and say, what's going on down there? And I take them out and I show them the drawings there in the lobby. And I say, here's what's going on and here's what we're thinking for that. And we're down to maybe 3.5 years now, but by the time you find a developer, come up with plans,
Mhm.
they get ready to pull the trigger on those plans. That time's gonna be up fairly quick, faster than you think.
So fast.
it would be nice to be able to transition directly into that rather than have another lag
Mhm.
in there. So that's what I've been telling everybody.
And that's my only thing,
Yeah.
is that I don't wanna wait, I don't wanna be waiting to try to find somebody that
Right.
might want the property now, or not now, but when they can build on it. That's my only thing. So I just wanna make sure that we're on top of it, or we knew the date, like what you said, but that's good, because,
So we have been working on it. We don't have a solution.
okay,
And, you know, I'm offering that until we get that market in place, it's going to be a challenge. Plus, if we don't get the market in place, then you got more land, you know, so there's just a puzzle that we're trying to solve, and I'm hoping by the next let's say mid-November, we should know where all of it is in terms of the market and funding and all that sort of stuff. So it's in the works.
It's good to stay on top of it. We can't get the cart in front of the horse.
It's that's how it's working right now. Not to make any excuses, but that's just sort of where we are. I do have one other thing, and I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. We would like to make an official request that the city start the condemnification process for the buildings next to Doug's Studio. We're really concerned that we're going to spend a lot of money on that building and end up with something that catches fire, or the building falls down next to us and it damages, the building we just spent all that money on. I mean, it's a serious situation. You've spent money on the streets, Gabe. You've also spent money on that building, plus other investors. And when we're done, it could be a lot of money in that building. And we've got neighbors next door where the buildings are falling in. The roof has issues, the brick has issues. There's no one monitoring or occupying the building, and so it could catch fire. It's a big deal. And so we'd like to make an official request for the city of Attica to address that.
I had a gentleman in my office just today, professional bricklayer, and he was sharing his concerns about not only that building, but the newspaper building where the brick's been coming off the front of it. He is afraid that they did do a stopgap measure there to keep people safe, but he said that is what it is a stopgap. And he said once those bricks fly, he said they'll end up out in the middle of the street with as much pressure as they have on them. And when somebody actually takes the time to come to you, you kind of got to listen. I don't know whether everybody's aware of this or not, but the contractor that's doing the work downtown has asked us to give them in their words, an indemnification against any damage that might happen to that building while they're doing the work down there. And I read through it the first time and I thought, wow, this is so broad that they could do anything down there and we wouldn't have any recourse. So I sent it to Mr. Bars to review, and he agreed. I think he was more concerned about it even than I was. And we've been going back and forth with them and their lawyers, their attorneys, about the wording of that. And I don't know, I know Mr. Bars reached back out to him, but have you heard any more from them?
No.
I've told them that I'm not gonna sign it as it is because, as Judd put it, they could throw a hand grenade in there and we wouldn't have any recourse. So that's something that's been going on back and forth here for several weeks. Anybody have anything else on the 200 block? We'll go ahead and move on.
What are the steps for addressing the buildings next door?
I'd have to have Mr. Barris answer that.
To condemn them, is that what he's, like, is
Well,
he saying? unsafe
or
building?
address the problems. It is indeed in bad shape.
That would be unsafe building.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
you probably have to get it inspected or something.
If you
Well,
go
Eric,
down,
Eric could do the unsafe building order, because he's the
Yeah.
building commissioner.
Well, that, or would it be easier if the fire chief has certain authorities, and that is very, very unsafe, so I don't know which approach would be our best approach.
I mean, the fire department has all authority it needs to condemn a building if it's a public safety hazard. There's just steps I have to go through with the state fire marshal's office to do it legally.
if you go down to Watson's parking lot and you turn and look at the gable end of that building that Rod's talking about, there's a crack that runs from the top of that down. It looks from the ground, it looks 2 inches wide, and it's getting wider all the time. And it
Looks a lot like the old Hoosier restaurant. It had a crack like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And then it ended up falling down, so.
yeah, so I'm concerned.
Is there
I
no
can make a
saving
phone
the
call.
building, or, I mean,
I'm not an engineer, I can't say that there's no saving it or saving it, and you know what we went through when we tore down buildings that were actually falling down. So I'm not gonna say that, but it is an unsafe building at this point in time, I believe.
I'll make a phone call to the building code gentleman from the state fire marshal's office and just kind of bend his ear a little bit.
We did send a certified letter to the owner through the county website, came back. So we haven't been able to reach them by letter, and we networked to find a phone number, we can't find a phone number.
We can advertise unsafe building orders in the paper 3 times, and it says if it was served on them wherever they are. That's what we
Says
do.
they live on Bradbury Road.
I think they're supposed to be.
What's the address of the building we're talking about to you?
208 South Perry and is that 210 212 South Perry? Is that sound right? It says the one that's out front
There are
says
two.
208 and then the one right next to it says 210 212. So it's the front and the back maybe? I don't know.
They have I think they have a separate address for the apartments upstairs.
No.
I would,
Oh, they're
I would hope
apartments?
that if we've caught these in
Oh, I didn't
time,
realize that.
we wouldn't
Well,
lose them, and if we get the roof
There's a door.
and.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully they save them, but.
I see, I didn't even know that.
Just like we dealt with before with no one wanting to invest that kind of money for it,
Do
so.
they happen to live there?
I don't think
No,
anybody's
there's no one
living
else
there.
there.
I don't think
Okay.
anybody's in the building.
Okay.
And that was part of Rod's, it's not being monitored, so
Right.
you
It's
could-
abandoned, basically, it sounds like.
they have a lot of stuff stored in there, is my
But I
understanding.
understand it leads to one.
Okay, let's go ahead and move forward unless anybody has more questions from the council on that. Try to keep things on track here tonight. 2025 salary ordinance approval. I sent out another rendition of that just this week. I had asked for input, got none, other than I did talk to Scott on the phone and I did talk to Mr. Moss on the phone. I went back and I looked at how many people we had in each position currently. I made an estimation of the hours per year for those people. I came up with a number. It looks like that we could stand to raise the amount to about 6% for this year. Everybody needs to know though that's 2 years that we went. If we do this, that's above what was originally offered up. And as far as tax increases from the DLGF, they gave us 4.5%. So everybody needs to understand that we are not going to be able to give 6 and 7% raises year in and year out without increasing our revenues somehow. I sent out an email today to our partners in the own property in the south end of town. I'm trying to make the annexation go through. So I'm working hard on getting everybody lined up for that. But that's out there a little ways. But I just want everybody to understand that we can't keep doing this. I think we have the money for this year to make it happen. I've asked the clerk to look at it. She said that I didn't take into account a couple of things, but it still looks like we're gonna be all right for this year.
What was the couple of things?
Taxes
Joanne-
per 77, all that, he literally just looked at hours and rate. He didn't take into consideration the other expenses associated with the employee.
Okay.
Which there's about a 20% burden on top of.
Mhm.
And the budget that you'll be approving tonight is only including a 4.5% raise across all the personal services. So of course, that's already putting us in a negative for next year, but we do additional appropriations every year anyway, because for whatever reason, we can't stay within our budget.
Well, and something I talked to the mayor about, we do a lot of things, other things. When I look at this, our most vital resource is our employees. And we do 10,000 for fireworks, we do 7,000 for music in the park, we do various things that we are expending funds that are important, but to me, they're less important than our employees. So I pushed, the mayor did a ton of work on this and got tired of listening to me about it, but,
Not really. I appreciate
I
it.
pushed to try to do all we could do, and there's limits on everything we have going on. We know we've spent a lot of money over the downtown project and many others, but we just wanna show our appreciation and take care of our employees. Comments, concerns, anybody?
I'm always on board I'll be the first to jump in, cause you know it's gonna be me. I'm always on board for giving our employees more money. They do They do a lot for us.
As long as we've got it.
When we've got it, a 6% raise every year is not sustainable. Period. It's not. It is not. I'm just making that clear. It is not sustainable. Period. That's number one. I wrote down notes so that I'll keep on track. The other thing I said was I would like to see, and I'm going to be kind of pushy about it because I've said it, 4 years, immediately, we need to find something that to put in place that ties our raises to job performance. And I say that, and I know that people are not going to love that, but here's the thing. We cannot continue to do this. We cannot continue to give every single person across the board the same amount of money. We need to have it tied to job performance evaluations and a way to incentivize and reward people that go above and beyond, because we do have people that go above and beyond. We do. And it's not fair that that person, people, multiple people, are getting the exact same pay rate that somebody doesn't. They should be rewarded. They're going above and beyond the expectation. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think you're right.
But I will say this, I'm asking for, that's also putting extra work on somebody. So I also know that I'm asking for that.
Well, I think it's always important for an employee to know where they stand. And the mayor and I talked about this, and something I'd love to see. You know, I'm part of a $2 billion company, and our raises this year was 3%, and it generally ranges between 3 and 5, and everything else. But the leadership, the directors, they get their pot of gold, and they distribute those raises on how they feel necessary. So if somebody's performing more, they're the ones supervising them every day. They know who should get more, and they know who should get maybe a little bit less.
Sounds like it'd be on the department heads.
That's what I say, department heads,
evaluate.
department heads get they get the number, the decision made, here's the number that you have for your department, and you determine what the raises are. If you go straight across the board at 3 or 4, if that number's 4 or whatever it is, but generally, most companies are giving 3% raises right now. And I know that that's well below inflation, but,
It is what it
it
is.
is what it is. I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2025-1014A, establishing wages and compensation for elected officials, appointed officials, employees, and members of the Attica Police Department and Fire Department.
I second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries, 1 abstention. Okay. Next up is the budget ordinance.
Before you move on, can you
Okay.
get the signature on the salary ordinance?
Yep.
Because it has the sponsoring
Okay.
council person, that way I won't have to go back and get that information. And you can fill in that information too, if you don't mind, please.
Absolutely. Today is the
14th.
14th, all day. It's on here twice, but.
Mm. Not sure who drafted that up. Who do you think?
Shut up.
That was rude, don't you?
It's got Scott.
I think that was very rude.
Thank you.
Here you go, ma'am.
Thank you.
Budget ordinance approval. Everybody got a copy of the budget ordinance here. Joanne, do you have anything to say about it?
No, it's exactly as it was advertised and presented. There haven't been any changes to it. But, if you do approve the budget on my original here, I will need each of you to record your decision, either a, nay, or abstain, and then sign it. It requires each of you to do that.
So you get 5 copies of it back.
No, I'll
No?
pass mine around.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see, there's actually a place for signature up here, okay.
Any questions? Comments? Somebody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve our 2025 budget as advertised.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
A motion is second. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Alright, so.
why don't I just start this one? then
This,
we'll-
I need it on this one,
Okay.
Why is that special paper?
please. It's on 2 sheets. I don't wanna have to photocopy and then scan. I can just scan the 2 sheets I have.
This is the sheets you're missing.
It's a joke.
But I appreciate your concern, Mr. Voorhees.
No, it's just a joke. I'm sorry that,
We can't all be zingers,
Unfortunately for some of us, they never are, Nathan.
Do you want me to use your pen?
yes, you can use
Did you bring
You know, I have
crayons,
extra
Kaylee?
black
I
ink
brought a
pen if
blue
you'd like.
pen,
That's
and
the
he's
wrong
very
one.
upset that it's
There's a
blue.
faux-
To me, official government doc is my head for 20 years.
Black.
I've always black.
She's got blue.
I sign everything in blue, that way you can tell it's an original.
Change it.
You can tell it's an original if it's signed in
Did you
blue.
get
I'll
a
show you
signature
someplace in
this
writing.
one?
Black.
Salary ordinance. Okay.
I did not get you to sign the minutes. So if you wanna sign minutes, you can do that too. Of course, Kaylee, once I scan it, you won't be able to tell, it'll all be black.
That's true.
Not even necessary, I am particular about certain minutes, I love them like this. That's my favorite,
I have an extra.
yeah, that's my favorite, but I also love the flare pens.
Yeah, we're good?
Did you sign that one too?
They come in all different.
I'm kind of a clean snob too.
Yeah.
Probably don't
Yeah.
have to sign it red though, do you?
5 pages as a result of a 3-hour meeting.
Okay, health insurance recommendation. Still haven't obviously heard back. They haven't even promised it until after tomorrow from the Anthem agent, so we don't know what that's gonna be yet. This is obviously a recommendation to the Board of Works, but I think that your recommendation will weigh heavily with the Board of Works, cause they're the ones that actually let the contract. But, my proposal is to hound these people from, for lack of a better term, from Anthem and try to get a number from them as soon as possible. And I will email that number out to everybody so we know where we stand. And, we're obviously not going to vote, but, I would love to hear the feedback from everybody on what they think that the city should do moving forward with health insurance. I have a special Board of Works meeting scheduled for the 29th. I promised AIM that I would let them know prior to the 31st. That's their drop dead date for this year to join the AIM Trust. I've heard from a few employees and although nobody wants to pay more money, I think that most people are on board with biting the bullet now as it was put to me. So, and I know there's a couple of them here, if you I'll offer up to let you guys speak for a minute about other concerns or something moving forward, but it's kind of where we're at. We don't.
I would
know-
agree, I would agree with that statement, Larry, that
Okay.
if we're gonna do it, it's time to do it.
Okay. I don't want anybody to feel like they're getting pushed into a corner here, but I think that as time moves on, the city's getting pushed into a corner, with our current carrier. And I was kind of surprised, but I talked to him at length on the phone here a few weeks ago, and he actually talked up the AIM Trust, which kind of, I thought, you're selling insurance and you're talking up the AIM Trust, but I kind of got the impression that Attica is small potatoes to them, and they probably don't make much money off us anyway. And he pointed out that Terre Haute is going to be the biggest city in the trust going into next year. They joined, and so that it's just more buying power for them, for insurance carriers to provide the service for all these cities. So we'll see what the numbers come out, unless they just come back with a really super cheap number. We have talked a little bit about the having a high deductible and a low deductible plan, or at least a high and a mid plan. The AIM likes for you to stay with two choices, but if it's not working out, the next year you can go to a different plan and slide those around. As you know, they offer like 9 different plans. So we'll see. I'll send everybody the information as soon as I can coax it out of those people. If everybody's agreeable to that.
Thank you.
Sale of vacant city-owned lots for new housing. And I know that Mr. Kraft had sent something to Attorney Barse. I have one here that was hand-delivered to my office somewhere.
To Ingrid?
Huh?
To Ingrid? Ingrid? I didn't get anything from Brian Kraft. Did,
She sent it to Ingrid, or he sent it to
Yeah.
Ingrid, I think. So as far as I know, those are the only 2 that I have. I have not opened up the second one yet. Could you hand that to Judd and let him look at that? Was the offer that Brian Kraft's client had put in. Brian stressed that he's not taking any brokerage fees or anything for this. He's just kind of trying to help the city out. But they're one basically to buy the lots that are out in the north end of town on Perry Street, the ones that we thought we had sold here a few years ago. And they've made an offer on those. This one is from, I haven't opened it, drum roll. This is from Joyce Strickler, and they own an adjoining property to one of the lots that was for sale. And they'd like to own that lot since it does adjoin them. So they made an offer. So,
Maybe let me know what the addresses of those are.
it's on the letter that Judd's got that I printed.
Or I guess the one that you're talking about,
The one
Larry.
I'm talking about,
Yeah,
204 West Columbia.
thank
Joyce and Charlie Strickler. And they're offering $6,000 for that lot.
Is that the one where the house burnt down?
Yeah, it was-
That's what I was thinking, it's a pretty big lot.
It's a pretty nice
Do you
lot.
have that ordinance in that for the pay period that
Did they say what they
decided
wanted it
they
just
wanted
because it was
to give
just
to you,
close to
didn't
that?
I?
Yeah.
It's not
Going
here,
into the
so I don't
property.
know
I don't.
if I gave it to you or if
Or
it's
a
just
copy.
not here in my staff stuff that Nikki brought in.
That's me to do.
Are they building a house on it?
No, it's adjoining their property, so they just don't want somebody to build next to them, I believe.
an alley there? I thought there was.
There it
I had a sticky on it. I can go look and see what's in my office.
I don't think it's here.
All right, I'm gonna go aside and find it.
Eric probably knows,
Yeah.
alley.
It's an alley or utilities, but we have infrastructure in part of it.
Oh, here it is, Joanne. She didn't take her phone with her, so.
I'm on Google too. And it's a burnt down.
So Kraft's three lots are on the north end of, are they?
Perry Street,
Perry?
yeah.
Right as you get out of town, or right as you're leaving town?
We had tentatively sold those lots
Yeah.
here 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. There was, they were narrow, I remember that. Yeah, there they are, I see.
Highway. I think they were offering like $1,500 or something like that, if I remember right. Then they pulled out or something.
I didn't even, I just printed that off, Judd, I didn't even look at what they, the numbers that
Well,
they
they
were
used
offering.
the old version of the parcel numbers, not kind of the modern parcel numbers, and I'm trying to figure out, because there are 4 lots on Beacon, side by side by side by side, and they've got 3 numbers, so I'm wondering which one they're not taking.
Do you need me
I
to
thought
go
one
grab
of
the
them was on one
ordinance
side of the road
from,
and the other 2 were, maybe I'm
that
Oh,
was
wrong.
that
presented
might
at
be
last
right.
meeting that have the
The other
tracks
2
listed
were
out with the
across
parcel
the-
Oh,
numbers?
that would be good.
Oh,
Did you say I did?
yes.
Yeah, after I
I
got in
said,
my
"I got it,
office and
Joanne."
I was looking for it, yeah.
Okay, that helps.
The ordinance off from last meeting that has the parcel numbers on it, that might be helpful.
I've got the parcel numbers from the ad.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you got-
But he used, Brian Kraft used the old version of the
I don't
parcel
see it on
numbers.
there.
They're on here somewhere.
Probably
Okay,
have
I
there.
got ya. I thought the city cleaned it up, but I'm
I
not
think you're
sure.
right. I got some old pictures of it on
025.
So is it 1214, 1300, and 1302?
That sounds right.
1214 is one of them. And, so, just one second, I gotta match up
No, you're fine.
the, part, to make sure his offer meets the minimum bid is what I'm trying to figure out. So 12,
For you two children,
1214 is parcel number 3.
Well, the good thing is it gets them off the tax rolls,
$11,000.
or onto the tax rolls, I should say. And then the other thing is if they build on them as they say they're going to,
that was,
it
that was
increases
last
the
year.
tax.
Plus, we don't have to take care of them.
Plus, we don't have to-
It was.
Good point, Dwayne.
I was voting against you.
1300 Perry is there.
Eric won't have to hire as many mowers next year.
Yeah.
Sell them all.
And then, one second here, I've got one more to check.
That's because I went and looked at it and we get drunk, all lines were printed. You were in uniform when you wrote that.
Have a good evening, ladies.
Bye.
Well, their offer's less than half of what it's people, and they'll take care of it. You know? Plus it's,
So this is a builder that's wanting to buy these on Perry
the
Street.
multiple ones.
Yeah, that meets the minimum bids. The minimum bid was 11,000 for those 3 lots, and their offer's 11,000.
Okay.
So they got the 3 that are across that street, the very northernmost 3, and then there's a little lot right across the street that they did not buy. This is kinda hanging out there
Buy them all.
now.
Who's gonna send this?
That's great.
Yep.
How much longer do those have to be open for bid?
They done, we're done.
As of now,
So we've got that one, this one, and what was the other property?
There was one more that we don't have a bid for, right?
No, we had, five, it's 1212 North Perry. It's a little half lot across a small street, perpendicular to Perry,
Mm-hmm.
from these other three that just sold. Yeah,
It's just a little sliver.
it
It's
is.
probably gonna be a tough sell, I imagine.
I'm sorry.
My recommendation on that one would be maybe give it to the adjoining neighbor that butts up to, because nobody, I mean, there's not enough property there to build on, you couldn't even put a shed on it.
A she shed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't get one to get your size split.
That's, that's who's gonna buy that. That's the only person that's gonna be interested in that is the neighbor.
Okay. But we can go ahead and move forward.
Sure
with
can on
these.
the four
So,
lots, for sure.
Do you get this to get back to Ingrid so she can, cause she's been dealing with,
Yeah.
the sale of those.
We'll have to accept that offer.
Do we know who
Yeah, I need
wanted the
information.
north end lots? We don't know who it was?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Evolution Homes?
Evolution Homes, it's, Lawson, Travis Lawson.
So let's,
He's the one that's built several homes around town. He built one there at the north end of, north of me on Fifth Street.
Didn't he build the one on South Perry too?
Yeah, yeah, he's built two out there.
motions to accept these.
Does really
And then,
good work, I think. Did he build that one behind the store down there, Dwayne? Where
I
the-
don't know, I don't know.
The storm took out?
Right.
I think he built that one
No,
too.
that was not
So he's
Like
gonna
a
do
nice
something
home.
with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need a motion to accept the $11,000 offer for the three lots and the, $6,000 for the other, for, 204 West
204
Columbia.
West Columbia.
I make a motion, we accept the bids on all properties we just discussed for 11,000 and 6,000, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Then on the back page, under the seller's signature, can you sign that, Larry, and print your name?
Yep.
And then that's good to go.
Me?
Uncharacteristically.
I did.
waiting for this one. Here it goes, another hour and a half.
No, I'm good. No, I wasn't.
Was
I'm
that
happy
4
with this.
altogether, that's all?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
You want me to reach out to that 1212, the neighbor of 1212 North
I
Perry?
feel
and
like for the property, yeah, there's
Wouldn't
nothing on
hurt.
it. They're gonna have to do a lot of work.
Are you
Yeah,
thinking
like you said, I think they're gonna be
any
doing-
money or?
Gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, they need to know up front though that it's too small to build anything on. So it would just be extra property for
Right.
them, that they couldn't build a house or an apartment or anything on it.
Also,
I think that may be the guy that called me the other day, wanted to put a, what was it, storage units or something on there, wanted us to give that to him. I said, no, I don't think so.
Are there any other signatures needed?
No, I think it's just mine.
on the Evolution Homes one, I'm assuming he's just building a home, but do we have any stipulation on that? Like, I'm assuming he's building a home.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do we need this
he's,
back?
like I said, he's
No,
built
I mean,
homes
you
all
want
over
you hang on
town.
to it as the
I
record.
assume-
There was
And email
there was
me a copy.
actually a letter attached to that from Brian, outlining what he was wanting to do.
Okay, that's, as long as
And
it's.
I can forward that to everybody.
No, no,
I can-
as long as it was just a, you know how we had talked before, like, we didn't want somebody just to put up
Well, you still have to get a,
yeah.
right, you still have to get a building permit, and it has to pass muster with on the building permit through Eric. So it's not like somebody can put storage units on it or something without.
Here are some conditions that he's got on this contract too, that the buyer
Oh,
has
okay.
to agree to. Buyer intends to build one or more residential homes across the three lots being purchased, including but not limited to speculation homes, rental properties, duplexes, townhouses. Number 2, buyer understands and agrees that at least one building will be started within 1 calendar year from date of execution. Number 3, buyer understands and agrees that it is part of this contract that all building projects on the property shall be completed within 3 years and be certified to occupy. Number 4, escalation clause attached. I'll have to look at that. Number 5, it is understood that the city of Attica is being represented, buyer is being represented by Brian Kraft of the Warren Agency on a pro bono basis, and no sales commission is being sought or expected by Brian Kraft of the Warren Agency. And the escalation clause, second here. The following terms will apply to increase the purchase price escalating factor in the event seller receives one or more additional bona fide offers to purchase. Oh, this doesn't apply. You had one offer. They would have gone up to 17.5 until they got the bid. After 17.5, they wouldn't have bid anymore. But this is it. It's 11,000 even.
Fair enough. Pretty fair.
Dwayne, you were the sponsoring council member on this. We never got your signature. This was, the changing of the pay periods after the first of the year.
Yeah, I regret that. Just joking.
Thank you. Okay, we're getting there, folks.
We won't actually hold this to a little bit over an hour. I'll be shocked.
That takes care of that.
Count eggs before the
Eric, is there
breakfast.
any progress from the gas company on 310 South Market Street?
Still not retired yet.
Okay. Do I need to make a phone call to him, or would that help or hinder, or?
We can try. I can reach out to him again and see if I can get him to push the issue.
I mean, weather's gonna be getting bad here before too long. It'd be nice to get that done sooner rather than later. I was hoping to get it done before next week, before the
The
music down
little
there and
festival.
everything, yeah, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
Hey, also speaking of that, they're not doing any like racing. He had posted something about,
No.
okay, cause I was worried about
I
liability.
told him that's
on-
probably not, I told him he'd have to get liability insurance
Okay.
and that city's insurance wasn't gonna cover that.
Okay, good.
What's that?
He, Scott Gregory had posted about doing some type of racing down.
There's a company that brings in like little bitty electric motorcycles and kids can race them around this little course. And I told him that probably wouldn't be good unless he goes out and gets his own liability insurance. Just a couple of things I still had on here, rental housing inspections in addition to part-time person. I did put out the, job description for that, so, we'll have to try to find somebody, start beating the bushes for that position. Unless Candy, you wanna do that too?
Sure, no problem. Every other weekend.
Annexation of Harrison Hills and property south, I mentioned earlier in the meeting that I'd sent out a email today to several of the property owners and, talked to one of them on the phone today and, try to get that moving forward. So there's really nothing to report there. Dead or dying trees in the city, notices to homeowners. I don't know whether you ever got a hold of the guy that we talked about or not. but-
I've been there several times. Have not been able to reach any individual, get them to answer the door. I know last week had a lot of success on Friday, reaching out to the people that had the furniture sitting out. Most of that has been taken care of.
Is that on
that
Sixth
particular-
Street? Is that the one on Sixth Street?
The tree or
The
The couch.
furniture sitting out?
no, it was
I know.
on Avenue 1 and 2 places on Perry Street.
That's on Garrett's radar too. I don't get to talk to you much since you work at nights, Garrett, but I know
Don't get
that's
to
on
talk
your
much to
radar. I
anybody.
still hear the ducks and the roosters every morning, so,
They're saying good morning.
yeah, they are.
Can we circle back to the annexation?
Yes, sir.
So on October 29th, WEGA's hosting a growth, discussion in this room associated with Attica. So hopefully, the whole board can join us for that time. We're going to present some plans that Harrison Steel has come up with, the O'Mahony's as well, which is out by Odell's, and then have an extended conversation about annexation. So the goal there is for the community to weigh in and give their opinion, to just progress the conversation.
That's good, that moves things in the right direction.
October 29th,
What time?
we'll set it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, cause there's a special board
Better
works
work,
meeting right
yeah.
before that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What time is that over?
Fine,
fine.
it'll be
They're
very
fast.
short, we're
Yeah.
gonna
So
talk
6
about the
would be
insurance
okay.
and
Yeah.
we should have all our ducks in a row, so it should be a 15-minute meeting.
So we're doing
Plus
this in
Andy's here.
every community, it's not just Attica. But, the goal is to have 2, and the first one's set for the 29th, and then we need to set another one.
Okay,
Love it, that's awesome.
thank you, appreciate that. Anything else? Okay,
Okay.
I don't have anything else on the agenda, does anybody else have anything under miscellaneous business that they'd like to bring up?
No, but are we, it says we're having the next meeting on November 11th, is that?
It's Veterans Day, and I,
It is, and I don't think, Dwayne, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've ever moved that off of Veterans Day, we've had it, cause I remember making the comment that I was not popular for being down here. that
Well,
month.
we used to always work anyway, but I think we get Veterans Day off now, the city does, as far as the employees, but it used to just be a regular working day till a couple of years ago.
That's the only one you voted for.
Yeah, I presented like 3, like what Covington
I
has.
remember
You guys
that.
think
I
Veterans
remember
Day.
that, I
remember
remember
that.
that.
Yeah.
And of course, today's Columbus Day, and everybody
I
had to
mean,
work.
we
No
can
mail,
always,
no
we can always move it if everybody thinks that we should, I'm okay with it.
I don't care, I just wanted to ask, cause just in case.
Maybe
that's
it'll be
it.
a short meeting,
Yeah.
everybody wants to get out of here.
Kaylee, are you out of town that day?
I actually will be coming back into town that day, so I will be out of town that weekend, but.
Should be all recharged and ready to
I will
talk.
be,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, I'll have to tell you later what I'm doing.
Do we have a
I don't know if
motion
I'm
to
gonna be
adjourn?
recharged.
Larry, before you
Yes.
adjourn, can I say one thing?
Yes,
The Attica Recreation Inc. is getting started, and we just had a meeting earlier this month. There will be another meeting on the 27th
of November.
of November. So if anybody's interested in joining, you don't have to be a board member to be on there. You just come and help out, please. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Now do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Have a
I'll
motion
second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
That one carries.
Every time.
Mark it down, I don't know the last time we've been out here before 7:15.